Alright, hello, my name is Valerie Richmond, and I'm going to be presenting on Islamic and Jewish tradition and how they both compare and contrast. Mostly it's about um, the diet, but there's also something about the, uh, the clothing requirements as well. Alright, how they're similar. There are many instances in which both of them are similar, requiring their requirements concerning diet. The practices are both involved with religious ritual standards for health and treatment of the animals. For example, the Islamic restrictions on meat coincide with the Jewish shechita ritual, in which mammals and birds must be humanely slaughtered for consumption. I'm just going to warn you now, I'm going to probably butcher some of these words, but I will try my best to make them sound authentic. So in both cases, the animal must be killed with a single cut using a sharp knife and must be drained of its blood. The cut must be made to the neck, which follows the command of the book of Leviticus, according to the Kosher code. In addition, both the Islamic and Jewish laws agree that the beast must be slain compassionately, so as not to make the animal suffer. And each community, they ban the stunning of the animal. So, the cut, no, let's see, sorry. Okay, so even though they don't agree with stunning, the animal has to be alive when it's killed, so there are some issues with the animal rights groups about that, but that's a different point. They may also not drink the animal's blood. The prohibition of pork is essential to both religions. Speculation over whether the cause of the ban of the pork is debated. In a survey in the Muslim community, 90% of Muslims didn't consume pork in the last 6 months, so they seem to be pretty good about not eating pork still. Some felt that the reason behind the banning of pork or making it haram was because it's basically a very unclean animal and a germ carrier. Within the medical community, for instance, pork is probably the first meat that gets taken off the list of the diet of someone with heart, liver, organ problems. Whatever the case is on why it was banned, both Jewish and Orthodox Jews and Muslims still practice this globally. Although both have similar diet requirements, there are both quite a few differences in between them. Orthodox Jewish code seems to be a great deal more rigid than the Muslim code. The laws of tarifa refer to the rules in which an animal is deemed unfit for consumption. There are 8 classifications, but up to 70 specific practices concerning the conditions, which involve stuff like animal organs, how it died, post-mortem damage, etc. I believe they both agree on you can't consume an animal when it's been killed by accident or by another animal as well, or is already dead. So they do agree on that. That's something I should have mentioned in the other slide. Islamic law requires that a Muslim, Jew, or Christian must slaughter the meat. In contrast, Jews specifically have to do the slaughtering. I think it's called shachet. I don't know. I'm pretty bad on pronunciation here. Let's see. Alcohol for Muslims is prohibited. Jews can't have shellfish or some certain types of fish. Muslims aren't allowed to eat carnivorous animals, and also cats or dogs, while Jews may not eat sharks, some fish, wild birds, insects, and camels. Orthodox Jews cannot eat shellfish, which I already said, but they also can't mix their meat and dairy at the same meal. So, as a side note, I thought this is kind of interesting. I somewhat dabble in vegetarianism. I basically eat meat that's humanely killed, not in like, I don't know, that's my personal thing. But as a side note, humane slaughtering practice don't only benefit uh, Muslims and Jews that are devout, but they also give non-Muslim and Jews the opportunity to have cruelty-free or somewhat cruelty-free meat and products. With the horror stories surrounding the U.S. meat market standards lately, setting proper examples for animal treatment transcends religious beliefs. Also, 20% of the population is lactose intolerant, so the kosher demarcation of what contains dairy is really, really appreciated by lactose intolerant as well as vegans. And then there's a couple more facts on a couple different things. There's a $630 billion halal global market. Hebrew National, their consumers are more non-Jews than actual Jews, so they're reaching a completely different market. And in Australia, halal goat and lamb, everything, all goats and lambs are halal stamped, I guess. The tradition of wearing a yarmulke in the Jewish community is pretty much seen as a standard. It's associated with the Jewish identity for a lot of outsiders. Typically, men wear them when they're in the synagogue and participating in ritual, though the actual requirement isn't agreed on. Nevertheless, most Jews that are practicing tend to continue the tradition of the yarmulke. During morning prayers, Jewish men are asked to wear the tallit, a ritual fringe garment. And in addition to this, the tefillin or phylacteries are worn on the head and non-dominant arm. These boxes are made of black leather and contain verses from the Torah inside them. At all other prayer times, a fringe garment can be worn under the shirt. Also, they prohibit tattoos. Now, they're the Hasidic male Jews. They interpret the laws on dress differently. Men wear long black coats, like Matisyahu's wearing right here. Long black coats that resemble robes, which are called bekehers, I don't know. Black hats or fur strimals for rituals. They also have facial hair and curls on the side of their head, which are called pays. And I think that those are optional. Women, there we go. Orthodox Jew women who follow the Torah law dress in a modest fashion. They cover their thighs, knees, arms, and neck, including the collarbones, and their arms to about the elbow area and above. Married women are required to cover their heads when they're in public. They sometimes wear wigs, snoods, or hats, depending on their personal preference or their practice. Islamic Law On Attire is a little different. It basically ranges depending on the culture and the country. In America, Muslim women often wear the hijab, which is a head covering that covers the hair and head, but not the face. It still leaves the face visible. Covering of the head is addressed in the Quran, but some women decide to dress a little more conservatively than just the hijab. They use the burqa, which is a full garment that covers the clothing and area under the nose. In Iran, the chadar or the hudr, I don't know how to pronounce it, but they wear that there often. And another option is the niqab, which is a veil that covers the face. Now, for men, they can't wear anything above the knee or below the navel. There's a traditional robe that they can wear called the djellaba. Some men also choose to veil themselves. The Tuareg, not sure how to pronounce that one either, but they choose to veil themselves. Both genders must not wear form-fitting or transparent clothes so the body shape isn't really revealed. The clothes can't be too gaudy. They can't, since they're not supposed to really be about social status or, bragging. They shouldn't be too gaudy or have a material that's too fine. And they should be without stains and should be very clean and not dirty. So basically my conclusion from reading about both of them is that modesty is seen in both Jewish and Islamic practice. Both religions see revealing clothing as a distraction from the real person, and wearing modest clothes allows people to view and be treated respectfully. They also share the same belief that animals should be humanely slaughtered as well as treated pretty much as a gift from God. Although their exact methods for diet and dress vary, the same conscious method of appreciating life and respecting the body can be seen from both places. So there we go. Let's see. Here's my bibliography. Hopefully that looks good. I had a ton of sources, and that should be it.